Hi and welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin, this is Rideshare Buddy UK, and today's video is just a quick one about some of the negotiations now going on with the GMB and Uber. Every 3 months, I think it's every 3 months, or every 4 months, GMB and Uber senior management in the UK get together for a bit of chit chat and to make a few changes. So I'm just going to have a look at what they've done in the past and what's due to be talked about at this next meeting. What I'm not going to cover, because I'm going to do a separate video on that, is payment for waiting time. Now, in between jobs, you don't get paid at the moment on Uber. I don't think you get paid on any other platforms. But remember, in November, the Employment Tribunal decision on Bolt was that if you are a sole worker for a single app, such as you only work Bolt, then you are entitled to payment at minimum wage during waiting time. That's not being enforced. GMB is looking at that to see if that actually also applies to Uber. And the Supreme Court decision a couple of years ago would indicate that it does apply to Uber, that Uber should be paying drivers waiting time, provided they're not multi-apping. If they're multi-apping, then that doesn't apply. But I'll talk about that in more detail and why I'm against that in a separate video. Let's have a look at what's going to be happening in the next meeting between the GMB and Uber and some of the things that they're going to have a chat about. So we'll go through the list on the GMB Uber notice board, and the meeting is happening shortly, if it's not already happened. This was posted on the 19th of February about the quarterly meeting. So these are the issues and my thoughts on it as we go forward. So driver earnings. This is a key issue. Are we seeking a dedicated meeting discussing driver earnings? We all know driver earnings crashed again in November/December. That's the time Uber always cuts drivers' pay. They hope to hide it behind the busy period, but they've cut it so much now, people are noticing. A lot of drivers have left Uber this Christmas and have not come back. So local companies are seeing a big surge again in drivers. Uber can't cover the work, and we're now heading towards March, end of February, and Uber still has Quest going, still have driver recruitment going, and they just can't get the work covered because they don't have the drivers anymore. Particularly what I find, especially in Newport, the Uber drivers tend to be school drivers. So they've all got school contracts, and then they just potter around on Uber in between and maybe come out on the weekend to earn a little bit of extra money. But once those drivers disappear to do the school contracts, that's it. There's no cars, and people, even when they book priority, are waiting 20 minutes when they book a priority car because there's just no cars. But driver earnings, this is down to drivers. If you accept low earnings, if you accept low fares, then Uber, the AI, are going to think, well, that's the going rate. If people are accepting it, it's the going rate, so we'll carry on paying out at that rate. The only way you're going to stop it is to stop accepting the work. So it's purely in the hands of drivers. If as a driver you don't do the low-paid work, then the AI will stop offering the low-paid work because they can't get it covered. This is why I don't do UberX, full stop. I just don't switch it on. I almost left Uber a little while ago, but then they brought out Uber Priority. At the moment, Uber Priority is paying, but I've noticed it's started to get squeezed. At the moment it gets squeezed, I'll stop doing UberX. I don't do work below a set amount of money. I have fixed costs. I know what my mileage rate needs to be. I have fixed costs, and I want to make a profit. I want to go, coming on to the next one, I want to go on holiday. I want to have a certain standard of living, and I know what mileage rate I need to reach to hit that certain standard of living. And if the cost of the mileage doesn't cover that, I don't do the work, full stop. So driver earnings is purely in the hands of drivers as to whether they accept the work or not. If you don't like it, don't accept it. This is the way it's always been in taxi work. If a job doesn't pay, you don't do the job. So that's my issue. Great, they can discuss it, they can have a dedicated meeting to it. But as long as drivers keep accepting low-paid jobs, the Uber AI will keep giving out low-paid jobs. It's down to you whether you accept it or not. So the next one I want to look at is holiday pay. Many members want holiday pay to be removed from the fare offer card. It's probably going back to the old way it was, where you get a weekly payment. It shouldn't really make any difference as a taxi driver. I'm old school. I started doing this in the 80s before you had all this holiday pay and that. And your mileage rate, you made sure you earned enough to pay for your holiday. So you should know how much you need to earn off each job to cover your living expenses, cover your motoring expenses, and also cover things like holidays, sick pay, and all the other sort of things that you do as a normal person. The fact that it's taken out is just come off the top line anyway. You used to get paid, I don't know, £1 for a job before we had holiday pay. Now you get paid 80p a job plus 20p for holiday, equaling £1. So, you've got to know how much you need to live on. Then you've got to know your mileage rate, and then you can decide whether you want to take the job or not. So it doesn't bother me whether it's in or out. It's not an insurance, not a problem. Next one, insurance documents. GMB members are concerned that genuine mistakes are being classed as fraudulent actions. Never happened to me. Got no comment on that. At the moment, I'm in the rent to buy, so it's all that we'll buy auto cars. Don't know. Can't say on that. Don't know. Haven't experienced that issue. Driver deactivations. GMB members have an ongoing concern at the speed of deactivation, level of evidence being relied upon. This I do have an issue with, because Uber don't tell you what the issue is. They don't tell you what the concerns are. You just get deactivated, and then you're pissing in the wind basically to try and find out why you got deactivated. No transparency at all. There's no sort of options to know the grounds of appeal, because you're not being told what the issue is. There's no dedicated appeals process. If this was a local council doing this, or local government doing this, you could run a judicial review. But Uber's a private company, so you can't do it, because you need to have at least some level of defence. Some level of appeal, some level of saying this isn't correct, and you need to know what the claims are for you to be able to defend yourself. And Uber does not give out those claims. They don't tell you who it is, they don't tell you what it is, you just get deactivated, and that's the real issue. Obviously there are now solicitors, especially in America, who will run legal campaigns and get you compensation for wrongful dismissal and things like that. Hopefully that will come to the UK. Not sure whether it is or not, but hopefully we can get some legal actions going against Uber. And once Uber starts paying out vast amounts of money in compensation for things like lost earnings, then they'll start looking at the process by which they deactivate and suspend drivers. But that needs to be dealt with. I do agree that needs to be dealt with. That's something that needs to be dealt with. So, we are also seeking updates on issues that have been raised at previously quarterly meetings. Some of them are below. Stopping riders from screenshotting drivers' profile pictures. That's a technical issue. It can be done, but there is always ways around that. The screenshotting and screen capture software and apps and phones, it's very difficult to stop a screen from being captured. It's just technically it's not possible. You might be able to stop it from being an inbuilt, but there's apps that will overrule that. So if somebody wants to screenshot your profile, they'll screenshot your profile. There's nothing you can do to stop it. Changes in airport cancellation fees. Don't know anything about that. The only airport we have in South Wales in this area is Cardiff, And if you have 10 flights a day from Cardiff, that's about all you get. Certainly nobody ranks up there to my knowledge for any serious attempt at getting airport work. You might get drivers driving down and ranking up half an hour before a plane lands, but yeah, not worth it. So giving riders the ability to change bookings when needed, the IEX to XL, that's a good one. Because if you're driving an XL and they only book an X, but then they decide, oh, can we get another person in? They need to be able to change that to an XL and also to readjust the fare. So that's a good one. Totally agree with that. You're actually quite limited on an Uber app as to what you can do, both as a driver and as a passenger. I mean, passengers have asked me when they've wanted to change a location, can I do it in my app? Because they don't know how to do it in theirs. And say, I can't do it. Can't change a location in my app. You have to do it on yours. And half the time, I don't know how to do it because I never use Uber personally. I only use local taxis and hackney carriages. I have an issue with the way Uber pays its drivers, so I don't give them my money. Don't even use them for Uber Eats. So that's a good one. Giving drivers final say when riders try to add, stop, change destination mid-trip. Totally agree with that. I've had that issue come up before. I've jumped on a job, which was a local job. I'm all right because it was taking me home, wanted to go home, end of shift. Got in the car and they've changed the destination to Penarth or to Barry or miles away, which is going to take me an hour to do and get back, and I don't want to do it because I'm going home, end of shift. I told them, I said, well, I'll drop you out the station where you first booked it for, but I'm not driving out to Penarth at this time of night. I've just done 8 hours and that's enough for me. So yeah, totally agree that when it adds stops and change destinations, the driver should be able to say no and dismiss it. Luggage expectations, that's a given. You look on any taxi app or any airport transfer app, it shows how many suitcases you can get in a car. I can take 4 passengers, but I can only take 3 full-size suitcases. I can take 4 hand luggage. When I do airport transfers from OTS or the other place I do it for, what happens is they'll say 3 passengers plus suitcases. I'll take that. It says 4 passengers plus suitcases. I don't know if it's handheld luggage, which I can get in, or full-size suitcases, which I can't get in. So I don't do work involving 4 passengers. I just do 3 passengers. And you really need to do that, particularly for airports, especially 6-seaters. 6-seaters may be able to sit 6 passengers, but not many of them, MPVs, unless you're driving a van, not many MPV 6-seaters can actually carry 6 suitcases. They can barely carry 6 handheld. So that's another thing to deal with. GMB has secure changes to trip radar since its last trial last year, but we are aware that it is still causing concern, so we'll continue to engage with Uber on the issue. Yeah, not interested in changes to trip radar. I like trip radar. I've got no problems with that. It's just like it used to be in the old days when jobs were called over the radio. Keep it up as far as I'm concerned, Uber. I'm happy with trip radar. Then there was a Valentine's Day notice saying how they called on Uber to give additional bonus payment to drivers who decided to work Valentine's Day and break the strike. So never used to get that with unions. Let's be honest, if unions can't... Oh, we'll do that one. I've got a £28 job to Cardiff. Priority, so just do this, then we'll come back. Right, it's been a few hours. I've switched off the app because it's been real busy. I think it's 1:15 I took that job to Cardiff, and it's just been constant. It's just turned 5 o'clock and I've got over £99 on the clock, 99.71, but I need the loo. So what I'm going to do, because I wasn't planning on working today, I am going to go down to Asda, go to the loo, finish this video on the GBM. Then I'll quickly run through the jobs that I've done, because they've been quite good paid, apart from the one which I turned down. And then I'm just going to do one more job, take me over the £100 mark, and then go home. I hadn't planned on working today. I just had in the car to do the video, and I switched the app on just to see what was happening. But after that £28 job, I thought, oh, I'll do that, and it's just been non-stop ever since. Winning on. All priority work. So I've been doing over £25 an hour, and just after 5. So after the loop, we'll finish off that chat. I'll go through the jobs that I've done, wait for the one more job to take me over the 100 mark, and then I'm going home. Okay, so yeah, what I was talking about was that Valentine's Day thing. As I was saying about driver pay, if the unions that represent drivers can't work together, I mean, you had one union telling people to go on strike, the other union telling the buses to pay more for strike breakers. If the unions can't get their act together, how are the drivers going to? It just doesn't happen. It's been well and truly divided. It's every man for themselves. And there'll be no effective action to push up prices unless drivers do the action themselves and refuse to do the jobs. That's all that's going to happen. Just stop doing the jobs, prices will go up because they want the jobs covered. So the last one is driver safety. Lastly, GMB is worried that there may be an increasing amount of fake online posts about drivers in our communities. I've seen a few memes, but I've never seen any negative posts about drivers yet. But I'm sure it will happen. I'm sure it does happen. I've not seen any, but it's one of those things. It's one of those things with social media. You're always going to get people trying to stir it. So that's it. So that's what's up for a discussion at this next meeting. But let's have a quick look at today, because I've been quite surprised about today. I only came out to do this video, as I said, and then I had that one job, and then it's just been job after job after job. All quite well paid, apart from the one which I turned down. But let's have a quick look. I know for 100. There you go. £101.71, so I must have had a tip come in. But let's have a quick look at today. Done 9 jobs. Driving time 3 hours 7 minutes. About 4 hours online time. So that was, I did get a tip. So let's have a quick look at what we've done. First job was at 1:15. £28.52 Uber priority for 15.9 miles. That's quite low. I'd like at least £2 a mile on priority jobs. That's coming at just under £2. 28.52. Then at 14.37, 20 to 3. I was just coming back into Newport when I got another priority job at £12.37 for £5.33. Then at 15.02, priority job, 1.59 miles for £6.44. 15.18, 1.86 miles, priority, £6.87. 15.37, so 20 to 4. 5.8 miles. Oh, that's a bad one. Priority, Uber X priority, 5.8 miles for £9.51. Yeah, not happy with that one. They are squeezing priority jobs, they really are. So I'll be keeping my eye open on this, and I'll talk about this other job that I'll turn down. And if priority does get squeezed too much, I'll just drop priority. I won't do X or priority. And then I'll just go back to doing comfort on occasions in Cardiff, just to keep my app, my account open, because the BP subscription and discount is worth doing a couple of comfort jobs in Cardiff just to keep that going. But anyway, 15.38. I just dropped off at Cumbrian, picked up in Cumberland, Rogerstone, 7.23, yeah, another bad one. 7.23 miles for £12.09. Definitely being squeezed, these priority jobs are. I'll fire up the computer and start running some figures on these. Keep an eye on it. Once it drops below the rates I need, I'll drop priority and forget about Uber apart from comfort. So, 4:15, 5.71 miles, £10.74. 4:30, 2.6 miles for £6.94. And 4:10 was 1.81 miles for £8.23, including a £2 tip. Now, the one I turned down was Uber Priority. I think it was £2.15 priority fee, and the total price was £4.14. So that would have been a £1.99. Is that £1.99 base fare? Is that how low Uber have gone now? Yeah, I turned it down. No thanks, Uber. No, I don't do that. So I'm having to keep my eyes now. I'll do daily figures every time I come out and check the mileage rates that they're paying on priority, because I don't think priority is going to be profitable for very long. If it gets squeezed much more, we're going to have to pull out priority as well. Yeah, I'm in it for the money. That's all it is. I'm not in it to serve customers. I'm not here to transport passengers. I'm in it to earn money, to have a life. And if Uber aren't paying it, I don't do it. One of the best things about going over to Chepstow a lot now is Chepstow doesn't have Uber established. There's no app-based taxi company over there. And that's why Taxi Caller, when I keep pushing Taxi Caller, people say, oh, it's an app. I'm an app, thank God for that. Because they don't want to ring up different drivers, because it's mainly Hackney carriage in Chepstow. They don't want to keep ringing up different drivers to find out if they're free and how long they're going to take. Oh, no, I'll try somebody else. They just want to pick up the phone, have a look on the app, how far away are you, how long will it be before they get a car, and then book it. That's what they want to do. They want an app. And because Uber isn't over there, Taxi Caller, I can really push Taxi Caller and get people to sign up with Taxi Caller. And that's why I did Taxi Caller quite well on Saturday. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to try and push over Chepstow Way. Very hard to push Taxi Caller, a new app in Newport, because Uber is so well established and so is Vezu. Two big apps here, Vezu and Uber. Bolt has been squeezed out of the market in Newport, and it's going to be very hard for me to try and push Taxi Caller in Newport because there's just too strong a competition. But in areas like Chepstow, Caldicot, Monmouth, Abergavenny, Monmouthshire, they're not really established, so it's a good opportunity to push Taxi Caller. And why those Hackney carriage drivers in Monmouth, in Chepstow, aren't on Taxi Caller, I really don't know. Yeah, don't know. Well, I've had a good day today, those 4 hours. I've had a bit of a Pink Floyd day on the Spotify playlist. So we've had a lot of air guitars being played in this car today. A lot of fun, a lot of humour, a lot of laughter, and a lot of memories about the Pink Floyd days back in the 70s and 80s. As we was all growing up in our teens and late adolescence. Yeah, fun times. Yeah. So that's it for today. I'm just going to put Uber app back on for one last job. But thanks for watching. Those are my thoughts on the GMB Uber talks. Won't make too much of a difference for me. Not really supportive of a lot of it. And a good day for change on Uber. So good news, £25 an hour pretty much. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Till next time, take care. Safe driving. Hey, Uber, leave us drivers alone.